proud to be in Pensacola.
Hey, this is Chad Brillante from the Afternoon Sports Drive, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome to Inside the XFL. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. And what a week of XFL action it was. Week 4 we have for you. Coach, we've got so much to get to when you talk about the XFL, though. But I will say this overall, just my overall opinion on this. The football is getting better. It really is. I mean, Coach, we talked about it before. These guys didn't have the training camps like everybody else did. But boy, oh boy, is this XFL football getting a lot better here.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. In fact, I think there were a couple of games there that you couldn't have asked for any more in the way of competency, offensively, defensively, and special teams, lack of penalties, more professionalism. I really thought it was a very good day for football, and we're going to go over each of the games and talk about them. But what about that Texas showdown? Now that was a surprise, but you got to give Houston credit, and that run and shoot, you got to give them some credit.
Well, watching those games, guys, and happy to be here on Inside the XFL right there. It's a rainy day outside. It just so happened, by the way, I'm letting you guys know it's raining. So, but watching the games this week, Coach, the excitement is picking up week by week, and that's what you want to see in any new business, any relationship with family, anything going on. You want to see growth as things go on, and the potential for the growth of the XFL. The product's getting better, not for DC Defender fans or some of the other teams, but the growth of the league. I think the way that the guys are starting to gel. The first week of the product, you had a lot of low-scoring games. You had a lot of teams that weren't succinct. Now, either a defense or an offense can find a way to dominate the game, and it's not always a perfect score. The game last night, I watched that whole game. It was 25-0. Jerry Glanville, maybe we inspired him by having him on the get him on the show, and he gets a shutout. So there you go.
Sure.
That's
he and Elvis.
But I think overall the product, the stories, Jacquez Patrick talking about his father passing and having to bury his father and go out there and have an impact like he did, scoring 2 touchdowns. Just stories like that. That truly, to me, the XFL, I enjoyed it. It was the first week I had off in a long time. I got to watch all the games and enjoyed every one of them.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, the first week, but that's to be expected. Offenses are usually a little bit behind in any league, college, pro, whatever. But they play overall. Let's be honest. It's not the NFL, and it's like Oliver Luck said. I think he said it best. We're not here to compete with the NFL. We're here to complement the NFL. And it truly is a compliment to the NFL to have this league. It's good football. There's some good players here. There's some good coaching going on. And it's a place for these people to exhibit their talent. And some of them are going to go on and play and coach in the National Football League and other places. So it's good for everybody involved. It's good for the spectator. And keep in mind now, there is absolutely no doubt that there is a niche for football in the spring.
Weighing in on Inside the XFL, 850-623-1330. Guys, I want to ask you this question from watching the games, though. You see the energy and the passion in St. Louis, and you see a team that was gone. You hear the Kroenke chants that we're not going to repeat around the table here. But I will say you see a team that is passionate because they don't have an NFL team right now. Every other team, when you look at the LAs, the New Yorks, the Tampas, Houstons and Dallases, Seattles, they all do, DC. Every other team has an NFL team. Now that it means something because those are large markets, and the markets drive the revenue. But, Coach, after watching St. Louis, do you think the potential for growth in other cities, the size of a St. Louis that doesn't have an NFL team, could be happening? Somewhere like, that might be close, but somewhere around here where you get a big city market, and mainly like a Birmingham or somewhere like that. It's not as large as some of the other markets, but do you see the potential growth for other teams generating that team?
It's an interesting question, and people ask that constantly when they announce the XFL teams being only in larger cities, where they had, with the exception of St. Louis, where they had the NFL team. I think they made a wise choice, personally, because when you're talking about the acceptance of pro football, think about it now. Where better would you get it than in towns, cities that have National Football League teams? And two, their logistics were a consideration, the venues that they were going to play in. TV was a consideration for the market space. So there were so many things that went into that decision that I think were wise, and I don't think, with the record that we've seen before, I just don't think Birmingham, for example,
they tried it with the
AAF.
Tried
it with AAF.
Yeah.
They tried it with 2 leagues before that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's never really been what they hoped it would be in Birmingham. Birmingham, I think, number one is just it's too much to get over the University of Alabama.
And that probably won't happen. But, I mean, other cities, what I was thinking is you coached one, Sacramento. And that's a team that right now they don't have anything outside of the Kings, which isn't saying much because they were voted the worst franchise of any major sport. But, that might be a city where you look down the road and, every other city's got tons, Oakland and San Fran and L.A., Would it work in a city like that, which is the capital of California, a place like Sacramento?
It's one place that maybe it could. The only problem there is there's no venue. It would, it would take quite an investment to build a venue that would be capable of handling the crowds that they feel like they want to grow to. So, not that it couldn't happen, but it's probably very difficult to do. But Sacramento, to answer your question, Sacramento could possibly be an answer.
Looking at the games right now, the league, if the NFL is looking, because at this point I don't think it's an argument anymore. I think most people, Coach JP, when you look at the rules in place, I was at a coffee shop this morning and somebody actually was talking about that exact thing, about how cool the kickoff is, getting to watch real kickoffs. And for the people that don't know, how the rule is set up is the ball is kicked off, and when the guy catches it is when everybody breaks. So now you have the momentum of both sides. You don't have one guy steamrolling in like a train at him.
Well, they're only 5 yards apart.
Yeah.
They're only 5 yards apart.
And also the other rule with the 2-point and the 1-point, people like the excitement of not only seeing regular, everyday, routine place kick go through the uprights.
Well,
I think...
And the 3-point. I just want to.
The 3. I mean, it makes it
the Houston
exciting.
Roughnecks went for 3 yesterday and got it.
But Coach, do you see the NFL being too, I guess you could say, prideful to change it immediately when they know that this is probably a better outlet for them immediately? I mean, it's better all the way around. We all agree on that. Would the NFL adopt this?
It's a great question. I don't think that there's so much pride of authorship that they wouldn't do it. Just absolutely would not do it. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, and they would probably phase it in, but it certainly could happen. Now, they're not going to sit there and have a lesser interesting product in some ways. If they feel like the other way is going to be better in the long run, they're going to find a way to do it. That's the NFL. And the XFL could care less. I mean, if they do it, fine. If they don't, fine. They've got a good product, and they've got an interesting twist on how you play the game. So they could care less.
No, I agree. I think for the NFL, if it can make you more money and bring that viewership continue to rise and get people interested in it, I don't think the NFL is going to shy away from that. And I think that if you do this, for one, it makes things safer, which is their whole goal and what they've been trying to implement with all the regulations and everything as well. And then people will tune in. Coach, you've talked about it before. When do you go to the fridge? On extra points, things like that. And I look at that for the NFL. There's no way. I know that they have that pride, but I think they swallow a little bit of that pride on this because it's a great idea. And sometimes you just tip your cap to a great idea and take it on.
Looking at the mic'd up, the entertainment value is there to a point, but ask Don Imus or Papa John or many people whether it's the right thing to say. You say one thing and it could change your whole outlook of life. When it comes down to a lot of these athletes, Coach, they're coming off the field. They might not be the most educated. Who knows? But they say things, and they're energized. They're in the battle, the heat of the moment. As one of the guys this week on live TV when Houston was playing against the Battle of Texas right there against Dallas and the Renegades, basically dropped an F-bomb on Landry Jones to get his blank out of here right at the camera. I mean, just like, okay, kids, go in the other room for a second and don't ask Daddy what that word is. I mean, it gets to the point where that is important for the overall scheme because that one incident could turn off a lot of viewers. To me, at this point, I don't mind it, but it's not necessary to do that.
No, you're absolutely right. I think it's terrible, absolutely terrible. In fact, they need to have a rule, a very stringent rule against that. There's some other things that, I mean, if it were me tomorrow, I would certainly eliminate any of that because I don't like having players in an intense competitive situation being mic'd up. The ability to control everything that they do and say is extremely difficult at best. So I think they should use a little more judgment in how they handle that situation. If they want more upfront and close with the players, there may be a way to do it without having them mic'd up. Okay, and there's some other things I noticed in the as you're looking at the offensive linemen of a couple of teams, or you're looking at the whole team from behind, and you know now why the NFL, for all that long time, said that you have to have uniformity in the way you dress, and your socks have to be at a certain level, and the same color, the same stripes, and so on. I like, nice looking uniforms, but from the knees down, they look like Revolutionary War soldiers coming back from a battle. Some of them had cloth wrapped around there to do for. Well, anyway.
I know what you mean.
It was bad news. So I think they should go back now. Some players don't like anything that is authoritative, so, but so be it. This is the league. This is where you've got to play. So, just the way it's going to be. I think they need to clean that up.
Well, week 4 of the NFL now has every team across the board with a win. As Booger McFarland said, every team knows how to celebrate a victory now in XFL history.
Thank goodness.
That's good news right there. Everybody knows what a W looks like in the league, in the history of the game, But when we come back, we're going to get to the games themselves. We'll break down a great week. It's Inside the XFL with interviews like Oliver Luck, the commissioner, Jerry Glanville, which clearly we helped him to a 25-0 shutout victory. Wasn't a better defense this week, and that happened right after Friday. We got him motivated. When we come back, we'll talk more Inside the XFL right here on your hometown leader for sports, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
Every player matters, and finding the right person can make all the difference. For Murray State, that was Jean Morant. In his sophomore season, Morant led the Racers to a 28-5 record and a trip to the NCAA tournament. In the first round, Morant had a triple-double in Murray State's upset win over Marquette. He finished the season as the first NCAA player to average at least 20 points and 10 assists per game in a single season.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Bracket busters, Cinderellas, underdogs on top. With the right talent in the right place at the right time, crazy things can happen. And it's no different for your business. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brilliante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330. This is Northwest Florida's all sports, all the time station. From Destin to New Orleans, sports fans come here for ESPN and local sports talk. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back to Inside the XFL right here on ESPN Pensacola with former NFL coach, World League champion, Coach K. Stevenson, kind enough to make time for us with the biggest interviews from the XFL after 4 weeks now. Every team with the victory and still one remaining unbeaten, and that's the Houston Roughnecks, getting a 27-20 win over the Dallas Renegades at Bob Stoops' team. Coach, that was the game we talked about. It was, must-see TV, big game right there. I like how they're giving some people time maybe to – it was a beautiful Sunday to go to the beach maybe. I wasn't the only one at the zoo, anything like that, and then get to come home and watch the games at a little later time. You're so used in the NFL of really investing the whole day, and families know that, people know that. This was an opportunity to get to actually go out there and spend some time watching the 3 o'clock, the 6 o'clock games, and I thought that was great. This was actually one of the clips here from the Houston Roughnecks and Dallas Renegades game that Houston ended up winning 27-20.
Great feel. He's a natural runner with the ball.
Fifth play of the drive. Jones has time, firing down the middle, and it's intercepted. Cody Brown has the interception with some blockers. Now to midfield. And Cody Brown, his second interception. So on first down, blitz coming, quick throw, tip, and it's intercepted again. Dietrich Nichols has it, and another big return. The 6th interception of the year already.
You saw there pulled to the ground.
3rd and 15. Roughnecks run a stunt. Jones intercepted again. It's Nichols for the 2nd time today. Landry Jones has 3 interceptions in the first quarter. On 1st and goal, Walker throws. It is caught for the touchdown.
You know, and watching that right there, watching that game, Coach, as a coach, the toughest part is when a team is trying to give you a victory on a silver platter and you keep screwing things up. But, everybody always asks the question, and really the answer is there's no perfect answer. One team wins, one team loses. But everybody wants to judge, did a team win the game or did a team lose the game and cost it? And in this case, Houston was trying to give them that win. And Dallas just... Landry Jones looked awful. He looked bad.
Oh, he did, and I feel so bad for him because actually he missed all of their training camp, I think 6 weeks, and was only back there 3 days or so before they started the season. He didn't play the first week, but then he played the second week, played well. And then he got, in addition to the terrible game that he played yesterday, he got hurt as well. So that's going to put him out maybe for the rest of the year. That may be the end of his career. But just a terrible, if they don't turn the ball over like that, chances are they're going to win the ball game.
Well, and you hope Landry Jones is okay. We saw the product without him, and it's a lot worse. I mean, it's the hand model. I'm just saying. Whatever. But anyway.
Depends what part's worse. I mean, the ladies, after he threw the pick, he could wave.
But no, I think when you look at Dallas, this is a team that has so much potential. You hope Landry Jones is okay. I said, on Friday, this seemed like it was kind of like the battle for the face of the XFL because P.J. Walker has kind of taken this league by storm, but Landry Jones is still the guy. You got to take the guy down before. Now, Landry throwing those early interceptions, look, credit Houston's defense. Great job right there. Houston finding a way to stay unbeaten. P.J. Walker, of course, threw him for 239 yards. Nick Holley, a little receiver right there. June Jones said whenever he drafted Nick Holley, he thought he was just going to be a backup running back for him. And now this guy's a star receiver along with Cam Phillips. So 8 receptions, 97 yards, and a touchdown. This Houston team is just, boy, they are something else.
Well, and Coach, I think what we've learned from the league so far is that there's going to be a lot of parity. And that's good for if you're just an everyday fan wanting to watch good football and knowing the game's not going to be dominated. Because there's some games in the NFL when you're a 21-point favorite, unless you're a fan of that team, most people aren't watching on Sunday because they know that game's over. And these games, all of them seem to have intrigue to them. D.C. started the season 2-0. Tampa was 0-2, and Tampa comes out and wins 25-0. And I think the second part to this, and you know this, we make such brass and quick decisions as a society today. None of these guys, B.J. Daniels, Jordan Ta'amu, P.J. Walkers, Cardell Jones, any of these guys, Jordan Taylor Cornelius, none of them are good enough to label, this is the team that's going to go in and walk in and beat you by 30 every week. It's not like the NFL, and I think we're seeing that where a team can turn around and win by 30 one week and turn around and lose by 20 the next.
Well, you're right. You're exactly right. And speaking of Taylor Cornelius, what a nice job he did yesterday.
25-0 victory.
Yeah.
What a big win. And from that win, Coach, that's a big win for the whole city of Tampa and that organization, because it's easy when you are the one that people say, hey, they're the only team that hasn't won, they're not doing anything. To be able to turn it around, it's not that easy because these guys aren't getting motivated at $1 million, some $15 million a season. These guys are getting motivated trying to make it by and trying to prove at the next level. Yeah. And these are athletes, and they showed it yesterday, not only to win, but the shutout was huge.
The shutout was huge. In fact, I was really impressed, and I was happy for Jerry Glanville. I've known Jerry a long time, and so I was very happy for him and for Elvis Presley. I thought Elvis coached a good game too. But they're not a bad football team. Now, believe me, defensively, if you noticed one thing about them defensively, they kept the edge on with the blitz. Now, Jerry's going to do that. In fact, when he was at Atlanta, it was known throughout the league. It was called the Grits Blitz. And Jerry was famous for the Grits Blitz for many years. But he's going to come at you with that, and he's going to come at you with more than you can pick up. The problem is if you have certain things in your inventory to take advantage of that, you can get the big play. Tampa did not let them have the big play. They had a couple of shots down the field when it looked like they had it picked up and they could get the big play on them, but they covered it extremely well. So very, very happy with the way they played.
Yeah, another thing, too, when you talk about this, a team like Tampa needing a win and they struggled offensively, well, guess what? You lean on your running game, and their running game did a phenomenal job. Look, Davion Smith and Jacquez Patrick averaging over 200 yards for them, I think it was 43 carries, a couple touchdowns there. And not only that, but, Coach, you know this as well. You can run the football. You control that clock. Yeah. Well, their time of possession, they had the ball for 37 minutes.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to help your team out right there and help that defense. Having your defense on the field for a little over 20 minutes, nothing better.
Well, two backs go over 100 yards. That's saying something. Anytime, I don't care what league, college, pro, or whatever. That's a heck of a night.
And Jacquez Patrick, a guy that was Florida State, a guy right down the road here from Tallahassee, just buried his dad Friday. and then to come out and get a couple touchdowns. A big moment for him and an inspirational moment. And, that's the part where as much as we don't need the mic'd up stuff, which we don't in the middle of the game, moments like that, you sort of go, oh, that's great. But that could have been an after the game kind of thing as well. But that moment definitely, was a tearjerker to me to see that motivation, and good for him. Good for him to get that win. And like I said, I can't imagine burying your dad and going out there and being able to do that. Looking at the other games, St. Louis, we talked about it. If you had to take a team that has embraced everything XFL, they're not the major market. Actually, out of the 8 markets, they're probably dead last. But one thing is St. Louis, looking right there at the way they've gone out, they've rallied, they've had 2 straight home games, and they've won them both, 23-16, where honestly in a close game, that's when you need your crowd the most. And it showed up again. Jordan Ta'amu, Ole Miss guy, SEC, big game, 264 yards. He's one of the only quarterbacks that is putting up legit quarterback-type numbers, not these 50 yards passing, 70 yards rushing style. It was another impressive win, and I like what's happening in St. Louis. Yeah,
it's a great story. It's a feel-good story, and it should be for everybody. And then to boot, you got to look at the fact that we were talking about before the logistical implications of this, but what a nice venue they have there with that dome in St. Louis.
It is, and it's a great place. And I know Seattle's always got a good fan base. That was a good game, but good to see a city that now gets a football team again to root for, because they're showing up, and it wasn't a one-hit wonder after week 1. They showed up just as big this week, and it was awesome to see.
Well, hats off to Jordan Ta'amu, too, as well, getting, back on track here. A kid, I always liked the kid at Ole Miss. It's just tough road for him, but nonetheless, he is just flourishing in his opportunity with the Battlehawks.
And then the other game right there, well, New York gets a win, but we don't have to watch Matt McGloin. It was Luis Perez comes out there. He looked consistent. He didn't do anything over the top. He didn't have to. He just was a game manager. And in this game right here, a 17-14 win over L.A., and a guy that's been a journeyman. He's been on 7 NFL teams, and Josh Johnson going out there and getting the victory. Now, the stats are a little misleading in this one. New York gets a 3-point win, 17-14, but L.A. was moving the football the entire game. They just couldn't get it where it counts into the end zone, which makes it more intriguing because you can't always just rely on the kicking to bail you out in this league, and that's also fun to see.
Right. Well, it was fun to see Perez go in and play as he played yesterday. I really felt like that Saturday. I felt like that was one of the better games on the weekend to see him go in a ball game and play. And not that it was a spectacular game from a quarterback standpoint, but it was in many ways because he settled a football team down that was in total disarray with some pretty good football players. New York doesn't have a bad football team, I'm not saying they got the greatest quarterback in the world, but the way he played was ideal for them yesterday and a big win.
Well, in the Division II product, I said before, this is the guy that beat our UWF Argos here in the championship in 2017. That was the quarterback for Texas A&M Commerce. Great for him right there, but, Coach, I think so. I agree with you. Look, he did exactly what was asked of him. And that's the biggest thing New York needs. They need a little comfort right now at that quarterback position. You don't have to go be the star. Nobody needs you to be the star because you got enough talent around you.
Well, why'd you tell me that? Now I'm not rooting for the guy. He took our national. I'm just no, Luis. Good luck and awesome win right there, and we're proud of it because stories like that from Division II level. Brandon Silver is a guy from our, right here in our neck of the woods, getting an opportunity to go out there and prove himself. Troy, it's great to see those stories because those are the stories. I mean, that you love to see in the XFL.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach, enjoyed another week. 4 weeks in the book. Looking forward to another exciting show coming up here this Friday with the best interviews.
I look forward to it as well, Chad.
All right. For Coach K. Stevenson, for our host here, JP, doing a great job as always. This is Inside the XFL on Talk Football with Coach K, and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day,